What's up, guys? Welcome back to Amazing RC. Well, today we're jumping back into our WPL C24, and well, I kind of tore it apart a little bit, and that's kind of why I wanted to get a real quick video out, kind of tell you guys where I'm at. Before I get so far into it, it'll take forever to backtrack. As you can see, we've taken it apart. Now, upon doing that, I ran into a few things that I've never personally dealt with before. I have dealt with ESC receiver combos, but never in just a chipset form. So this is new to me. I did a bit of research, figured out, kind of the wide range of these. I realized this one is to a regular non-proportional steering rig, as opposed to one that looks exactly like this and just will have a little three-prong tether coming off of it, and that would be for a steering servo proportional rig like this one that still takes a chipset, receiver ESC combo. So obviously is not stuff something like this in here. There's really no room for it. I'm pretty sure I could find an ESC and receiver, maybe even a combo that's considerably smaller than this. However, I kind of want to keep it into the same theme of the WPL, the 6x6. What I'm thinking of doing is actually either purchasing the receiver ESC combo that comes in this rig here and installing it in this, because I enjoy this transmitter. This is a good transmitter, and it's what comes RTR with this vehicle. I may do that, or I may actually take the ESC receiver combo out of this vehicle and install it in here, and then put something like this into this vehicle, seeing as how it's a bit larger and I can easily hide something like this. As far as this vehicle goes, some of you may be following my Instagram. If not, there's a link to it on the homepage of this channel. On my Instagram, I actually did a really cool post, and I wrote this obscure long caption for the post, and at the end of it, I said, if anybody's reading this crazy long caption, if you write carbon fiber on the comment board, then I will actually tear this truck apart even further and make a carbon fiber chassis for it. So somebody did in fact write carbon on there, so we're going to tear this back apart and we're going to make a carbon fiber chassis of it. Now, I only have 3mm right now, and this will be a 1.5 perfectly, and I only have scraps right now, so I'm going to order a sheet to get a carbon fiber chassis built for this rig here. Until then, we're going to go ahead and get a few things put together and installed, like our axle housings. Now, these bridge axle housings here, they don't have any gears inside of them. Now, I opted out so far on picking up the metal gear set for this just because I think I can do this without it so far. There's always an option to purchase it later, and right now, I assumed I could use the gears that were inside these axle housings stock. However, I was not ready for the drive shafts to actually be fixed to the part in the axle housing here. I was lucky enough, though, that I took a little flathead screwdriver and I actually pried off the drive shafts here without damaging the axle or the axle housing. Now, I was not fortunate enough to have the new pretty drive shafts actually fit onto the axle housing drive shaft here. The hole in the drive shaft is a little bit too small. Now, instead of modifying the drive shaft, what I'm going to do is pull apart the axle housing, and I'm actually going to grind down this little drive shaft nub here to accept possibly this drive shaft. So in the next video, hopefully I'll have that fixed. If not, I will be purchasing a metal gear set. As you can see by now, I do have the new metal gear transmission, metal housing, and new 370 motor installed. It came with a little one-something motor. Now, I haven't wired this up yet because I'm not exactly sure I'm going to use this power plug. So I'm going to get this wired up when we have the rest of the truck ready to go. Now, as far as steering servo, it had this really large steering servo set up in here, and that's for the non-proportional steering servo. We're going to throw this teeny tiny Traxxas steering servo I have left over from our, I think this was either the locking differential or the first gear, second gear swapping servo out of my TRX4. I have a couple of these. So I'm going to use this as our new steering servo in here. So as it stands for this truck, by the next video, I'm hoping to have something really close to a running vehicle, or we may be waiting on some obscure part. We'll know next video. Now, before I go, one of the other things I wanted to let you guys know is that we will be having a video featuring our 6x6 by Ishin here. I love this truck. As far as an upgradable truck, I think this is going to be massive fun to build. I mean, it's got leaf springs underneath it, and yes, it's all little plastic parts, but the difference between this truck and this truck, for some reason, it just seems more finished. You know, this one, everything fits so far. I don't have any problems with it. It just doesn't seem finished. Like the shocks kind of wiggle. I'm going to stick a washer in there, and I think that's going to tighten them up. And maybe they wiggle for a reason. I don't know. I haven't researched it yet. But they kind of have a little wiggle to them. So I'm going to see if I can't tighten that up. This truck doesn't wiggle anywhere. Everything works perfectly. It's super solid underneath. So be expecting to see a lot more out of this vehicle. Now, there are a couple things I'm going to do first. This is the battery that comes with this truck. And it works fine, but it's like a 500 milliamp battery. And I'm going to actually take this old Traxxas nickel metal hydride battery. I think it's like a 1200 milliamp battery. And I had cut the plug off of it, one of those big goofy Traxxas plugs off of it. I'm going to wire this thing up to this little plug that goes into here. And I'm also going to wire up a charger to get me out of the USB charger, because it's a USB charger and it takes even this little battery about 3 hours to get a full charge out of it. So I am going to do a comparison, not a whole video on a comparison, but I will add in one of our future videos the comparison between this battery as far as runtime and this battery as far as runtime. Here is the downfall of this battery so far. The battery compartment lies right underneath here, and it fits this battery no problem. However, this does not fit in any one of the directions that are possible. So I will have to actually do something custom to get this to work. So be looking out for videos on this as well. Guys, I'm going to cut it here and jump right back into this WPL C24. Until then, it's Brian. It's Amazing RC. We'll see you guys with another really cool video very, very soon.